Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to a daily energy read. Today we're going to do a classic read and I brought a few decks with me. At the end we'll pull some messages. So our last question is going to be messages in love for each of the twin collectives. And thank you so much for joining me today. I love having you here and I hope you're having a wonderful weekend to yourself. So let's start with an oracle message, and this is the archetype deck. Yes, we're going deep. It's the weekend, we're all hopefully a little more relaxed and we can do that, why not? And I'm now realizing that, yeah, this one takes a little bit different skill to shuffle. Hope you enjoyed the latest episode of Mindfully Awake around arts and creativity and like the whole debate of like how do you find balance between knowing the technique and the form versus creative expression and experimenting and innovating and expressing yourself from the heart space, right? I think it was a pretty good podcast, especially because I gave you some stories of mine. Also giving you a story of this artist that I talked about, that like it's still TBD whether it's going to continue, because I'm talking about like how this whole topic came about into my space, like very much like this week because I joined the watercolor marathon on Facebook with her, and I realized very quickly in its starting days that it's not what I expected. Let's just put it that way. And it's not going to give me the satisfaction. It's not gonna meet my expectations, and now I have this big question of how to move forward with it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But if you want to know more, and I'm explaining how I found my truth in like this whole debate, because this lady was challenging me basically and starting to explain her trauma and the way, like where she was coming from and the way she organized it, right? So I had to do my own research and get some insights into like how do I feel about it and why, you know, overall. And because I'm a dancer, I have a lot of experience to draw upon in the dancing world, because though it is a very different form of art, it actually still has like, you're still dealing, and dancers, even professional dancers, deal with that on the regular basis of where do they choose, like following, let's say, the guidance of a coach, or like choosing for their choreography some figures that everybody knows and will recognize and they feel confident in, versus going into something unknown and kind of inventing something with their dance. So anyways, or improvising. With all that said, and if you want to catch the episode, there is a post in the community tab with the link. There's also a link in the comment in the previous reading from yesterday. That was a Divine Masculine reading, by the way. So if for those of you who love getting some tea on how the Divine Masculine Collective is doing, what they're up to, that one is for you for sure. So already 2 reasons to check out that video. Divine Feminines, your message is the stone today. It's a really beautiful stone. It's like the mineral. It's like a crystal. Let me get the book and see what they're trying to tell us with the stone. But this book, I need to check it out because, you know, it's the archetypes. So sometimes it's more straightforward, sometimes it isn't. As an archetypal object, the stone holds psychic and literal weight. Its energy is one of permanence, concreteness, and reliability. It represents the earth element, basically. The stone's ability to transform is nearly imperceptible to us, as it changes ever so slowly over countless human lifespans. A single stone may see thousands of generations come and go, therefore it contains an ancient and eternal presence. The stone is best used to anchor our wild side, so no matter how far we roam, we can always find our way back. The stone tethers us to earth, helping to ground and connect us to stillness, quiet, and peace. When the scar appears, it is likely the stone is a remedy for what ails us. Humble and easily unnoticed, the power of the stone balances the frenzy of the world. And for some of you, maybe you immediately see this as a sign to start working more with the crystals, with the stones, maybe with specific pieces that you already have, or maybe looking to get in something. Stones do work very well with the energy, especially light worker energy, because you know, we have such a big amount of it, and it changes, like the dynamic is pretty intense, so it helps having something to kind of stabilize it, to bring harmony. There are certain ground rules though, so please check it out for yourself. It looks like what do you use the stone for, or that it's supposed to be in your space. Once in a while you're supposed to cleanse it, especially if you know that, you know, you've been going through some tough times, and this the energy of the stone has been utilized heavily. There are all these things, and of course keeping it like personal, private as well, but they do well. They don't, like, let's just say people use rose quartz for healing. I have a rose quartz bracelet here right now, for heart healing. It works great, but doesn't mean that you don't need to do inner work, right? You're still supposed to do conscious work to make that effort, but it helps rebalance the energy as you do the work. It acts as a supportive tool, you know, so it works well that way. But I wouldn't just count on the stones, and that will go for any other function, any other purpose that you have for a stone. I wouldn't just count on it to solve your problems, just, you know, just stone alone. Okay, for the masculines, we have the flame. Ooh. The flame for the twin flame. It's one of the tools, by the way. In Sanskrit, the word for fire is Agni. The ancient yogis saw this flame at the center of the abdomen and believed it to be responsible for our vitality, essentially the sacral chakra. When it is lit, we are connected to our purpose and sense that life is a sacred gift. It is said that those who cannot see the sacred around them have let their inner flame go out. Think of this card as a call to reignite that fire, to cup your hands gently around those things you've forgotten and protect the flame, no matter how harshly the winds around you blow. It could be an inner archetype that begs you to light that wick. It is likely that the poet, the mystic, or the shaman would call to you with the language of the flame. So divine masculines, check on your flame. It's one of the masculine chakras, actually, the sacral, right? And yeah, in the more primal meaning, it is responsible for the sexual energy, but in a more elevated meaning, it's responsible for the creative energy in so many different ways, right? So especially if you feel like your creative energy is somehow blocked, or there's some kind of disbalance, that this is your clue to work with it. All right, let's go with the tarot now, and we'll go with the Muse deck today. All right, let's go with the first card. And by the way, if you're interested in a personal reading, it's a great time to get one. Also sign up for my intro call or discovery call for the coaching, if that's something you're interested in, and we can combine coaching and tarot. Actually, I'm working with someone right now where I'm using tarot as a coaching tool in our sessions, and it's really powerful. I can use astrology as well, like it depends, you know, we can create a custom version of coaching for you. And very soon I'm gonna add a booking tool on my website where you can book specific time slots with me. So yeah, what I want to say is a great time, because in April I'm gonna get a lot busier. I have an in-person event that I'm planning. Mid-April I'm gonna go to a retreat, and I'm gonna be gone for a good week, 10 days. Then I'm gonna be busy celebrating my birthday, so there will be a lot going on. So I'll definitely limit the amount of readings that I can do, or even the amount of coaching that I can do. So please use your chance for another couple of weeks. You have it. I'm pretty free right now in terms of my schedule for the session, so utilize this time wisely. High Priestess, or the Priestess in this deck, bottom of the deck. We are finding new meanings these days. That's what I'm hearing. Like we're noticing deeper meanings in the familiar things, or in the daily routine, stuff like that. We're understanding how much more significant it is in our life than we thought before. Two of Pentacles. Yeah, and sometimes we actually are faced with choices that we didn't anticipate we'll have to make, you know, and sometimes there is no way to be on top of everything or to be able to have a cake and eat it too, so to speak, right? You need to make those hard choices. Divine Feminine, your energy right now is Nine of Voices, clarified by Ace of Cups. I'm hearing like quite literally with the Nine of Voices, something with that has to do with your voice. Are you trusting your voice, feminines? You need to bring in more love to your own space and trust yourself more. You know, and sometimes you say, okay, but I actually talked to this person and I shared, you know, my thoughts or my insights or what I'm sensing is going on, and they said no. So like that's why now I'm doubting myself, right? But this is your confirmation that you should really trust yourself. And if the person says no, maybe they have their reasons to not bring it up with you, or maybe they don't even realize what's really going on, because you know sometimes we live on autopilot and we experience life but we don't necessarily unpack what it means, how we feel, right? So don't let any kind of external circumstances break your trust in your own voice. And don't forget to be using your voice, especially if things get stressful, if things get tough. It's important not to internalize it, but to actually share more of it with like the relevant parties, you know, or to be able to speak up on behalf of yourself or maybe someone else that you are protecting in this situation. Masculines, your energy is the Hermit, clarified by Six of Wands. So the masculines actually understand that in order to kind of win this current battle, they need to sort of keep things to themselves, or literally like go into a hermit mode and spend some time alone. Like they need time and space right now. And for masculines watching, if you are trying to figure out like how to solve this problem in hand, this could be it. And even if the problem actually will involve other people and some kind of public communication, in order to get to that solution, you may need to balance yourself first, and for that reason, you may need to go into the hermit mode. Maybe even literally to the desert, who knows? But somewhere where you can feel like you can do anything, you can say anything, and not worry about consequences and not having to explain yourself too much. You know, like the solution is coming, you'll be ready with it, you'll be ready to present it. But for the time being, the answer might actually be in that solitude space where you can really hear your inner voice. Additional question for today is Queen of Materials, clarified by the Moon. Oof, this is like combination of earth and water energy. This is kind of like staying grounded in 3D, but also being connected to feelings and emotions and, you know, what's going on in the ethers. That's like a bridge that connects us to that space. Very interesting. How do we stay practical, but also like be in this world, but not of this world? I think that's what my scientific advisor used to say in philosophy when I was in college. Feminines, you've got Page of Inspiration, clarified by Eight of Swords. Wow, it's really about finding yourself. It's about trusting your inner child, your inspiration, you know, because you already know what you're supposed to be doing. You already know what do you truly need at this very moment, right? Whether it seems childish or it's like simple things like attention and love, or it's actual like taking care of yourself, or it's expressing yourself and going for what you want, even if it looks scary, you know, and then you can do some work with your inner child to actually support them through that fearful energy. Whatever it is, the answer is already in you, and it's important to connect to that space to understand what's working, what's not working. For masculines, we see Three of Inspiration, clarified by the Emperor. Three of Inspiration to me, again, is actually connected to the sacral chakra, and we already talked about it some, you know, and we can use the archetype of the flame to visualize it that way, right? Like there is some kind of flame that needs to be lit in the masculine's world, that will And it's a great metaphor because on the one hand, it's like that energy of passion and drive, but it's also like a guiding light, you know, like when you have clarity what that passion is, what do you actually want in life. Because this emperor is like very, you know, very much in their thoughts, like in his thoughts, just like trying to figure things out, basically. And, you know, that guiding light, that flame might actually light up the stage and show you where you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to go. So you don't have to just double guessing, double checking yourself, you know. So work on that energy of the flame, and it might actually for some of you be quite physical, or like working with the chakras, you know, and then see what happens. So again, like tackling that problem, but from a different angle, you know. Maybe that's why you also need hermit mode, who knows. Messages in love for divine feminines watching, please. The X in ascending. All right. Wow, this is so powerful. To me, this is immediately about like the whole concept of, you know, our baggage that keeps us anchored to the ground. It doesn't let us fly. But once we like take an axe and cut the cords, or like we release the past stories or the past trauma, we're able to take off and ascend. And you can take it literally, of course, but it also is a metaphor, right? That it's time to ascend to the new space. And in the meaning of love, it works just as much, right? Like maybe you're still worried about some past story repeating itself. You're worried you're not going to be the good partner, or whatever, you know, fill in the blanks, right? Because of something from the past, right? Maybe you're still connected to your past love interest. And while that cord exists, you cannot attract somebody new into your space, right? You need to cut that off, and then you'll be able to ascend and, you know, find love that, you know, and the person who will match your energy, who will really align with you. Beautiful. What do we have for divine masculines? Messages in love for divine masculines. Wow, we got 3. We have clock, the runner, and paradise. It's like there's a fear of running out of time, really. Like there's pressure of time. But the solution to it may be like finding the right partner in time, or like maybe you're of a certain age and your friends and family are telling you like it's time for you to get married and start a family or something. There's some kind of pressure that masculines are feeling when it comes to finding a love partner, or maybe taking things to the next level. But your task, divine masculines, is to go into this paradise space, right? To be in the energy of joy and playfulness, and kind of invent that image of happiness for yourself. And maybe for some of you, it will literally be you and your person on an island, like enjoying the tropical paradise or something, on a deserted island where nobody else is around. Who knows, you know? But whatever that picture is, it needs to be blissful. It needs to remind you of a paradise, right? And the more you visualize it, the more you'll be able to attract the right partner. You'll be able to attract your love, you know, rather than just like rushing and, you know, pushing yourself towards, I don't know, being proactive, starting up something with people who are already in your energy field, etc., etc. Right? Like the right person will come along once you're in that expansive energy. So work on that first. Okay, I hope this was useful to you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time.